Imagine waking up to the news that a company has just delivered the biggest quarter in its history. Revenue is up, profits are up, investors are celebrating, and billions of dollars are added to the company's value almost overnight. By every headline, it's a huge success. But if you look a little deeper, you find something unexpected. Hidden inside the very same earnings report are layoffs, shrinking business divisions, and billions of dollars in profit that didn't come from selling a single extra product. So, what really happened at Microsoft? And more importantly, what does it reveal about the future of the entire tech industry? On July 29th, Microsoft released its financial results for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2026. At first glance, everything looked almost perfect. The company generated more than $90 billion in revenue. Azure, Microsoft's cloud business, grew by an impressive 43% and crossed $100 billion in annual revenue for the first time. Investors reacted immediately, pushing the stock higher after the announcement. But there was another story hiding behind those impressive numbers. Just days before this report, Microsoft had been one of the weakest performing companies among the Magnificent Seven. Its stock had fallen nearly 19% during the year, not because demand was slowing, but because investors were asking one very important question. That question was simple. How much is Microsoft spending to win the AI race? And when will those investments actually pay off? The answer is a staggering amount. During this quarter alone, Microsoft invested around $41 billion in capital expenditures. Across the full fiscal year, that number climbed to nearly $116 billion, almost 80% higher than the previous year. Most of that money is going toward AI data centers, advanced chips, and the infrastructure needed to power the next generation of artificial intelligence. It's one of the biggest investment programs in Microsoft's history. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. A large part of Microsoft's impressive earnings didn't come from selling more software or cloud services. It came from something else entirely. Back in late 2025, Microsoft committed up to $5 billion to AI startup Anthropic. As Anthropic's valuation increased, Microsoft recorded a paper gain worth roughly $3.2 billion during this quarter alone. That single accounting gain added about 33 cents to the company's earnings per share. According to financial analysts, nearly 2/3 of Microsoft's earnings surprise came from this investment gain, rather than stronger day-to-day business operations. In other words, one of the biggest reasons investors celebrated wasn't because Microsoft suddenly sold millions of extra products. It was because one of its AI investments became much more valuable on paper. At the same time, another part of Microsoft was heading in the opposite direction. Revenue from the more personal computing division declined. Xbox revenue fell. Windows device sales also weakened. The company also reported severance costs and impairment charges as it continued restructuring its gaming business. CEO Satya Nadella says these changes are designed to prepare Microsoft for long-term growth. But the reality is difficult to ignore. One side of Microsoft is investing billions into the future of artificial intelligence, while another side is cutting costs and becoming smaller. And that's what makes this earnings report so fascinating. It isn't simply a story about record revenue or record profits. It's a story about transition. Microsoft is making one of the biggest bets in its history, wagering that artificial intelligence will shape the next decade of technology. Whether that gamble pays off is a question that only time can answer. But one thing is already clear. The world's biggest technology companies are no longer judged only by how much money they make today. They're judged by how prepared they are for tomorrow. And in the race for artificial intelligence, tomorrow is arriving faster than anyone expected. I'm Bamo, and you're watching Bamo Tech Analytics. Thanks for your time, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next piece of solid content.